Have you ever wondered how the son of a glove maker became the world's most renowned playwright? We start our tale with an air of mystery that has always shrouded the life of William Shakespeare. Born in the quaint town of Stratford-upon-Avon in 1564, Shakespeare was the third of 8 children. His father, John Shakespeare, was a glove maker, while his mother, Mary Arden, hailed from a family of affluent landowners. This seemingly ordinary upbringing, however, belies the extraordinary legacy that was to come. For it was in this unassuming town, within this ordinary family, that the seeds of literary genius were sown. The world would come to know him as the Bard of Avon, the man who penned timeless classics that continue to captivate and inspire. But before the fame and the accolades, he was just William, the glovemaker's son. A humble birth in a small town for a man destined to be remembered forever. The young Shakespeare, like many greats, had humble beginnings. Born in the quaint English town of Stratford-upon-Avon, William was the third of 8 children. His father, John Shakespeare, was a local businessman, and his mother, Mary Arden, was the daughter of a wealthy landowner. From an early age, young William was steeped in the realities of Elizabethan life, a blend of rural simplicity and burgeoning urban commerce. The young bard's education began at the King's New School in Stratford. This was no ordinary school, but one of the new grammar schools that sought to inculcate in their pupils a love for learning and a grasp of the classics. Here, Shakespeare would have studied Latin and Greek, read the works of ancient philosophers and poets, and learned the art of rhetoric. This was a time of intense intellectual stimulation for the young Shakespeare, shaping his mind and honing his literary skills. Then, at the tender age of 18, Shakespeare took a step that would change the course of his life. He married Anne Hathaway, a woman 8 years his senior. This was not a typical match for the time, and it has been the subject of much speculation among scholars. What is certain, however, is that this union produced 3 children, Susanna and twins Hamnet and Judith. The birth of his children was a significant milestone in Shakespeare's life, anchoring him in the responsibilities of family life even as he embarked on his literary career. Shakespeare's early life seems almost ordinary when viewed through the lens of his later achievements. But if we scratch beneath the surface, we can see the formation of a truly extraordinary individual. The rural roots, the rigorous education, the early marriage and fatherhood, all of these experiences contributed to the making of the man who would become the world's greatest playwright. Shakespeare's early life seems almost ordinary, but it was in these years that the seeds of his genius were planted. Then there are the lost years, a period shrouded in mystery. This elusive chapter of William Shakespeare's life stretches from 1585 to 1592. 7 years that have puzzled historians and scholars alike, as there are no records documenting what the burgeoning playwright was up to during this time. Some theories suggest that Shakespeare might have been honing his craft in the classrooms, serving as a schoolmaster in the rural parts of England. This theory is supported by the depth of knowledge reflected in his later works, demonstrating a profound understanding of diverse subjects from Latin to Greek mythology, which he could have gained through teaching. Another theory posits that Shakespeare was a law clerk in these years. This conjecture is based on the remarkable legal precision in his plays. From the courtroom scene in The Merchant of Venice to the property disputes in As You Like It, his works are riddled with accurate legal terminology that would have been unusual for a layman of that era. Yet these theories remain speculative. The truth of Shakespeare's lost years is perhaps as elusive as the man himself. What we do know, however, is that these years played a pivotal role in shaping the young man from Stratford-upon-Avon into the world-renowned playwright he would become. It is in these lost years that the boy from Stratford transformed into the Bard of Avon. As we emerge from the shadows of the lost years, we find Shakespeare's star on the rise. The year was 1585 when a young man from Stratford-upon-Avon arrived in the bustling city of London. William Shakespeare, an ambitious and talented individual, had come with a dream to make a name for himself in the world of theater. In the early years, Shakespeare started his career as an actor, joining one of the city's repertory theater companies. He was seen in many plays, his talent undeniable, but his true genius was yet to be unveiled. The stage was his world, but it was the pen that would grant him immortality. The first notable milestone in his writing career was the historical play, Henry VI. It was a story filled with power, betrayal, and war. A tale that resonated with the audiences of the time. The play was a success, marking the beginning of Shakespeare's rise in the world of English drama. But it wasn't just the success of his plays that propelled him to fame. Shakespeare had a unique ability to capture the human experience in his works, making his characters relatable and their stories timeless. His plays were not just stories, but reflections of life itself. This profound understanding of human nature and his extraordinary talent for storytelling quickly made him a favorite among theatergoers. Soon, his name was on everyone's lips. From the common folk who flocked to the public theaters to the nobility who enjoyed private performances, everyone was talking about Shakespeare. His plays were performed regularly and his reputation as a playwright grew. From the cobblestone streets of London to the hallowed halls of the royal court, his name echoed. He was no longer just an actor, he was a celebrated playwright, his works admired and his talent revered. From an unknown actor, Shakespeare had become a celebrated playwright, his name known across London. Even the greatest of tales must come to an end. Such was the case with the life of William Shakespeare, the Bard of Avon, whose final act was as intriguing as the many stories he penned. After decades of enthralling the London audience with his plays, Shakespeare chose to return to his roots in Stratford-upon-Avon in the early 17th century. Despite his return to the tranquility of the countryside, the quill in his hand never rested. He continued to write, further enriching the English language with his plays and sonnets. Among these later works, one that stands out is The Tempest, often considered his swan song. The play, with themes of reconciliation, forgiveness, and farewells, seems to mirror Shakespeare's own life as he bid adieu to his illustrious career. In the year 1616, the world bid farewell to this literary titan. His death, much like his birth, was shrouded in mystery, fitting for a man whose life was a beautiful enigma. Yet, though he left the mortal world, his words continue to resonate, his characters continue to live, and his stories continue to captivate audiences across the globe. Shakespeare's legacy is not confined to the hundreds of words he introduced into the English language, nor the 39 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 narrative poems he left behind. His legacy is the enduring power of his works, the timeless themes he explored, and the emotional depth he injected into his characters. His works have been translated into every major language, and his plays are performed more often than those of any other playwright. Even after 4 centuries, his works continue to inspire, to challenge, and to entertain. They reflect the human condition in all its complexities, making us laugh, cry, and ponder the profound questions of existence. And so the curtain fell on the life of William Shakespeare, but his story continues to be told. His words, his wisdom, and his wit continue to echo through the corridors of time, proving that while the bard himself may be gone, his spirit lives on in his immortal works. Shakespeare's life was a play in itself, but what of the legacy he left behind? A question that takes us on a journey through the annals of literature and culture as we explore the profound impact left by the Bard of Avon. Shakespeare's influence is not just limited to English literature, but extends to the very fabric of modern storytelling. His works, brimming with intricate characters and timeless narratives, have become a cornerstone for playwrights, novelists, and filmmakers alike. From the tragic love story of Romeo and Juliet to the power struggles in Macbeth, his tales have been retold and reimagined countless times over the centuries. His plays, once performed in the modest Globe Theatre, have crossed seas and transcended languages. They're studied in classrooms, performed on grand stages, and even adapted into blockbuster movies. His words, once heard by the few, now reach the many. But the influence of the bard goes beyond the realm of story. His words have seeped into our everyday language. Phrases like green-eyed monster, wild goose chase, and all's well that ends well all owe their origin to Shakespeare. And so, the legacy of the bard endures. His words and stories, deeply woven into the tapestry of human culture, continue to challenge, inspire, and entertain us. The son of a glovemaker, the Bard of Avon, William Shakespeare, lives on, his words echoing through the ages.